so peaceful, tranquil, and so much nature. Low on the water, going past so quietly, you know, there's no engine or anything like that. It's a bit more kind of nature friendly in that respect, and I don't think you get to see it in all its glory. Exactly why I do kayaking, really. The year that everything changed, the great pause button on all our lives. As we locked down and stayed at home, the river had fallen quiet to human traffic for the first time in centuries. But as restrictions on travel and recreation were eased in the summer, I knew that this was the perfect opportunity to pursue something I'd always dreamed of, to follow the journey of the historic Thames from its source to estuary. I left my home in Walton-on-Thames with a vague plan, 10-day window, and little in the way of comfort or camping gear due to the limited space in my kayak. The night before I departed, a friend of mine lent me a camera and suggested I film my journey. So, told in 3 parts, here it is. This is it, mile 1 of 184. Source of the Thames to London. First 14 I'm going to do on foot. Drove up to Cricklade last night, dropped my kayak and my stuff off at a campsite, so I'm going to stay there tonight, get on the water first thing tomorrow. The actual source, right there, those trees back there. Cheers. The Thames last year, a solo kayak camping trip. Didn't really know what I was doing. Normally I don't really, and this trip is no exception. But I did learn a few things last time. I'm not taking a tent this year. Got a better cook set, better water system. I'm about mile 2.5. So far the river's just been either like a grassy ditch or a gravel bed, like mostly gravel bed. See if you can see. Yeah, this kind of thing. But here we have the first bit of water. Not much. A little puddle. I think seeing as it's the first bit of official Thames water, I think it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? Just taking a bit of a rest at mile 11, and yeah, you can really sort of feel it becoming an actual river now. It's really starting to take shape, and I even saw a couple of fish. It's a noisy old cow, seems to be heading this way. So I've had to stop because there's an angry bull on the towpath. Yeah, so I might have to find a different route from here at this point. two of them. They're getting close to each other. I wonder if they're going to fight. Or shag. See, that's the path. I have to go that way to get to my campsite. Why have they gone quiet? What are they up to? Okay, so the detour isn't an option really. I'm going to have to risk it through the bull field, because otherwise I've got to go miles out of my way. Just try and get through this bit quickly. Okay, so I've just left the field with the two angry bulls. I think this is alright. There's a lot of calves in this one, so I think these are females. So I hope this is alright. You can hear that bull, can't you? He must be like well horning. You could smell all these heifers and that bull language for get off my land. Day one done. Nice glass of wine. Really happy with how today went. Really enjoyed the hiking a lot more than I thought I would. Maybe might be up for doing the whole trail by foot one day, right down to London. Could be fun. The vibe of this campsite is pretty stale, to be honest. It's a lot of very expensive motorhomes. You know, I'm the only tent here. Well, it's not even a tent, it's a tarp held up with a kayak paddle. Oh, and I forgot my tent pegs last night. So it was like staked in with bits of twig and a pencil, just to keep it classy. So they love me. It's not about the campsites anyway. I mean, I only booked it because just for practical reasons, just so I could bring the kayak and the stuff up, drop it off, take the car back, and then I got the train to Kemble this morning from Paddington. So like a major faff basically, just so I could get to the official source and then walk my way back down and then join the water tomorrow. The campsite was like, oh yeah, it's on the banks of the River Thames, and on the satellite picture looked really good as well. But like we're still, quite a few miles from like the official navigable point of the river. Should be all right. I'm so glad that there's been a lot of rain the last couple of months. Otherwise, I think this would just be a trickle, and there's no way I'd get the kayak fully loaded on the move. So should be all right. There'll be a few shallow spots. I might have to like drag myself along like a dog wiping its arse, but it's all part of the fun, really, isn't it? I'm going to hit the hay now and get in the water as soon as I can and get this show on the road. you.
Take care, my
Thanks very much. Cheers. So day 2, first day on the water. God, what a disaster to start with. I knew it was a difficult place to launch, that campsite, and it was terrible. As I dropped the boat in, I lost my balance, and me and boat both went upside down in the water. Everything got soaked. I mean, most stuff is in the hold anyway. It's watertight. There's a couple of bits in the cockpit, and I was just soaked right through, which meant all day I've just been in wet clothes, which is the worst thing. But I knew something like that was going to happen. I was expecting it. That's not the real problem. What happened was, as I was trying to pull the boat back up onto the bank to empty it out and try again, the cockpit was actually full of water, which made it really heavy. There's probably about 20 litres of water in there, plus all of the weight of all of the fully loaded kayak as well. It was just so heavy, and just recipe for disaster. Heavy kayak, slippery, wet rope. Me on a grassy bank in like flip flops or bare feet, and I basically stacked it. And I landed on my coccyx. Hell, it hurt. I basically started off the day with an injury, and like the worst possible injury you could have if you're going to sit in a kayak for 6 hours. It was so painful, man. It must be bruised. It must be so bruised. Like, it's a good job I can't see my own arse. Yeah, not the best start, but beautiful countryside. Really nice doing the non-navigable bit of the Thames. I mean, that was amazing. You're not really supposed to do that. I saw a lot of wildlife today. I saw kingfisher, I saw falcon, loads of birds of prey, loads of water birds, obviously, ton of dragonflies and all the usual stuff, but just like lots of it. Right. Well, basically, what I've done here is I've just been waiting for those people to disappear, and I'm going to camp here tonight. I've got a fire ready. Don't know if you can see the firebox there, ready to go. Hopefully I'll be able to boil some water and try and get a bit of kip and then leave first thing onwards. Hopefully my back's better. My back is really hurting, so I was hoping, I had a really good night's sleep last night, and I was really hoping that sleeping on it I would wake up feeling a lot better, the body would do its thing, but I'm still in a lot of pain, and I just don't know what my progress is going to be like today again. I mean, if it continues and it's going to get worse, then I'm going to have to abort the whole thing basically, or maybe ditch the kayak and walk. But I don't really want to do that. I want to have my kayak trail, and I've prepared for this. It's a bugger. It's really ruining it for me, actually. It's just so painful. All right, I'm gonna get in the water. We'll see what happens. Right, come on, Wyatt. Morning.
Hi, you sound excited?
Yeah, it's beautiful this morning.
Make sure your shoes don't fall in.
Yeah, again. Oh. 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 Everything is difficult, so painful. So this injury is, it's really starting to dominate the whole journey for me, which is not good because I want to enjoy it. And see, this is the point, the whole thing about kayaking. You're sitting in a plastic seat, and it's exactly where I get pressure on it when I sit down in the kayak. It's exactly where it hurts. I just need it to not be an issue anymore, so I can focus on, doing what I came here to do. Annoying. It's so 2020, isn't it? So I stopped off at Shiford Lock for some lunch. This is the third lock in a row where there's no lockkeeper. The house is empty, there's no one around it, man. It's so quiet. It's like a ghost town. I'm sure maybe it must be something to do with the COVID year. I think I've seen like 3 boats in 2 hours. Really, really quiet. Moo. Morning. The end of day 3, finding this camping spot, it's just made all of it worth it, all of the pain. Like, it's just so beautiful here. This is exactly what I came for. This is why I go for wild camping rather than campsites, and I'm by the river, I went for a swim. It's just an open field. There's just nothing here. Just sitting, having a glass of wine, my clothes drying, All I can hear is loads of sheep in the distance and birds nearby, sounds of the river. This is just what it's all about. This is wild camping. I'll do you a little guided tour. Kayak there, covered up. Hammock amongst the trees. And yeah, just one more job to do. I'm gonna sort of use the tarp to put up a screen here just to cover all of that, just in case anyone walks past. And then obviously I'll be up super early in the morning and be gone. I mean, I've got to start early anyway, but yeah, there's going to be dog walkers, angry farmers, who knows what. So, and yeah, and obviously sticking to leave no trace principles. I'm going to be realistic about the back pain because, I mean, you know, I can't just do it every single day like that. So it needs to get better. I mean, I haven't even had any painkillers. Like, that's not helped. There's been like nothing, nowhere to stop and get supplies or anything since Cricklade. So, but then, you know, I think I go through Oxford tomorrow, so that's that problem solved. But I just like, I don't know if it's getting better or worse. Like, whenever I feel it's getting worse, suddenly it feels better, and then when I think I'm convinced it's getting better, then I suddenly sit down or something and it really hurts. So I mean, I think I just need to give one more day, and if the situation hasn't improved, then I probably will have to just be honest and call it a day and just try again another time. But just thinking, if I have to abort, you know, what are the options really? Like, if I tie up and then I have to get like buses and trains and faff to get home, to get the car, drive 2 hours, lift the kayak onto my roof, drive 2 hours again. Like, this all just sounds more painful to me than just, you know, floating down the river, you know, and until I get to Walton, I just hopefully I can get back in time.